Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're the podcast where we take the sources you send us, unpack the most important bits, and hopefully give you a shortcut to being truly well-informed. Today, we're diving into something that could, well, fundamentally reshape how you interact with the internet. We're talking about how content gets valued, how businesses make sure their online presence actually works, especially now with AI everywhere.
Indeed. We've got some fascinating material today, focusing mostly on Cloudflare's recent announcement. They're calling it Content Independence Day, and it's definitely sending ripples, maybe even waves, across the digital landscape. We'll also touch on how, digital marketing agencies are right there on the front lines dealing with these changes.
Right. So our mission today is to really explore this pretty seismic shift in internet policy. We want to understand why it's happening now, what it actually means for, say, content creators, for businesses online, and crucially, how experts are helping their clients navigate this new era, maybe even find opportunities in it. It's a really pivotal topic if you care about the future of online visibility, the digital economy, or just, how information works on the web.
Okay, let's unpack this from the beginning. For, decades now, there's been this sort of foundational deal, right, on the internet, especially around how people who create content got paid, or at least got seen. Can you walk us through what that looked like, the traditional model?
Absolutely. Yeah. For almost 30 years, the web's main business model was largely defined by a project out of Stanford, initially called Backrub, which of course grew into the Google search engine we all know. And the simple agreement, the sort of digital bargain Google offered content creators was incredibly straightforward, basically. Let us copy your content for our search index, and in return, we'll send you traffic. Simple as that. Content for traffic.
Pretty much. It was a seemingly fair exchange, and honestly, it powered the incredible growth of the early web. It established that idea of the free internet we all got used to.
Okay, so creators got traffic. How do they actually turn that into, value, money or recognition or whatever they were after?
Right. Well, they primarily derived value from that traffic in three main ways, often using a mix. First, and probably the most common, was running ads. Slap some ads next to the content, get paid per view or per click. And Google really leaned into this. They bought DoubleClick, which became their ad-serving tech, and built AdSense. AdSense made it super easy, even for, small bloggers, to put targeted ads on their site and make some money.
Oh, ads. What else?
Second, subscriptions. If you had really premium content or a dedicated community, you could put up a paywall. Convert those engaged readers into paying customers for exclusive stuff. And third, honestly, for a lot of creators, especially individuals or niche sites, it was just the satisfaction. Knowing people were reading your work, finding it valuable, that's a big ego boost. Validation for the effort.
And Google helped measure that too, right? With analytics.
Exactly. That's a crucial piece people sometimes forget. They bought a company called Urchin, turned it into Google Analytics. That tool let creators see exactly who was visiting, how long they stayed, where they came from, which helped them optimize content, prove their audience size to advertisers, the whole deal. So this whole system search, traffic, ads, subscriptions, analytics, that was the web's engine for nearly 3 decades.
Okay, but here's where it gets really interesting, like you said, because that relationship, that whole system, it's changing fast. What's actually threatening this long-standing past? What's breaking the model?
Well, in a word, AI. The emergence and really the incredibly rapid advancement of artificial intelligence is fundamentally altering how we consume content, and it's shaking the very foundations of that old deal. For the first time in Google's history, we're actually seeing a noticeable decline in the number of traditional searches people are running.
Really? People are searching less?
Yeah. Think about it. You, like tons of other people, are probably turning more and more to AI systems, right? Like ChatGPT or Claude from Anthropic. You ask them questions you would have just reflexively Googled maybe a year or two ago. This isn't just a small shift. It's a profound change in how we look for information online.
So instead of typing keywords, getting 10 blue links and clicking through,
exactly,
people just ask the AI and it spits out an answer, often without even linking to where it got the info.
Precisely. Now, it's still evolving fast, but the writing seems to be on the wall, the interface for finding info in the future. It looks a lot more like an AI chatbot giving direct answers than that classic, Spartan search box in the list of links we grew up with. And even Google sees this. They've had to change dramatically.
How so? What's Google doing?
Well, think back 10 years. Google's whole pitch was speed. Get you off their site to the best answer as quickly as possible. But today, That strategy's flipped. They've aggressively added answer boxes right in the search results, summarizing info directly, and more recently, AI overviews, which are basically generative AI answers sitting right at the top of the page.
Ah, right. I've seen those. They try to answer the question right there.
Exactly. And Google itself said that with the older answer boxes, something like 75% of queries were answered without the user ever leaving google.com. With AI overviews, you can bet that number is even higher. They want to keep you in their world.
Wow. Okay, so what does this actually mean for the content creators? The ones who relied on that traffic Google used to send. If people aren't leaving Google, or they're just getting answers from an AI chatbot, what happens to the value of the original article, the original video, the thing someone spent hours creating?
Yeah, it's hurting them a lot. And the economic impact is profound and growing. Google still copies the content, right, for its index, for training its AI. But over the last decade, because of those changes, the answer boxes, the AI overviews, it's become maybe 10 times harder for a creator to get the same amount of traffic they used to get.
10 times harder.
Roughly, yeah. It's a massive drop. And it directly means it's 10 times harder to make money from ads or sell subscriptions or even just get that, validation of being read. The whole ROI for creating original quality content is just plummeting.
And it sounds like it gets even worse when you look at the direct AI tools like ChatGPT, not just Google's integrated features. That's where this strip mining idea comes in.
Oh, significantly worse. Yes, strip mining is a pretty accurate, if stark, description. If you compare it to the old Google model, where at least some traffic flowed through, with OpenAI's tools, it's estimated to be about 750 times harder for a creator to get traffic back to their site.
750 times.
Yes. And with Anthropic's Claude, it's apparently a staggering 30,000 times harder.
Whoa. Why such a massive difference?
It's simple, really. As users, increasingly, we're not consuming the originals anymore. We're consuming derivatives. The AI models hoover up information from all the original sources. They synthesize it, rephrase it, summarize it, and then they present that derivative content directly to you, the user, completely bypassing the original website, which means bypassing their ads, their subscription prompts, everything.
So the AI acts like a giant vacuum cleaner, sucking up all the valuable stuff.
Exactly.
And then just giving away a summary, leaving the original creators with nothing.
That's the core problem Cloudflare is trying to tackle. The web is effectively being strip mined by these AI crawlers. Imagine this rich landscape of human knowledge and creativity online. AI systems are like these massive industrial machines just extracting value without giving anything back. Creators see almost no traffic, so they get almost no economic value for their work, which makes that old deal content for traffic completely broken, obsolete. And the real danger is, if the economic incentive to create good stuff disappears, the well of high-quality original content might just dry up, which, ironically, would starve the very AI models that rely on it.
Okay, so that sets the stage perfectly for Cloudflare's big move on July 1st, Content Independence Day, they're calling it. What exactly did they announce that's shaking things up so much, trying to fix this broken system?
Right. Well, Cloudflare is a huge player in internet infrastructure. You might not interact with them directly, but they handle traffic and security for something like 20% of the entire web.
20%, that's massive leverage.
It really is. Gives them a unique view and significant influence. So, on July 1st, they announced a landmark policy change. They will now block known AI web crawlers by default for all new customers signing up for their service. This isn't some small setting tweak. It's a fundamental proactive shift. It's designed specifically, in their words, to prevent AI bots from accessing content without permission or compensation. Cloudflare's CEO, Matthew Prince, explicitly called out AI crawlers scraping content without limits. This is their answer.
Wow, so if I launch a new website tomorrow and use Cloudflare, AI scraping is just blocked automatically.
Yeah, that's the new default, yes. Matthew Prince called it a watershed moment for protecting online content. It really does empower creators who, like we just discussed, have felt pretty powerless against this wave of opaque, unpaid AI data harvesting. It's about giving control and the potential to monetize back to the people actually making the stuff.
And this is a big step up from older methods, right?
Oh, right.
Like that robots.txt file,
Yeah.
which bots could just ignore.
Oh, absolutely. Historically, robots.txt was the main tool. But it was basically just a polite request. It was a text file on your server saying, hey, bots, please don't crawl this section, or please wait X seconds between requests. But crucially, it was completely unenforceable. It relied 100% on the bot choosing to obey the rules. Legitimate search engines mostly did, but many AI scrapers, especially the less scrupulous ones, they just ignored it completely. Cloudflare saw this wasn't working and has been moving towards stronger network-level enforcement for a while.
Can you trace that evolution for us? How did they get here?
Sure. They started back in 2023, letting websites block some AI crawlers, but only the ones that actually paid attention to robots.txt. A first step, but limited. Then last year, they upped the ante significantly. They allowed sites to block all AI bots, whether they followed robots.txt or not. That was a major leap from suggestion to active blocking. And now, with Content and Attendance Day, that stronger setting blocking all AI bots is the default for new customers. It flips the script from opt-in protection to opt-out exposure.
Okay, but how do they know which bots are AI crawlers versus, say, the regular Google bot that sites still want? Must be tricky to tell them apart accurately.
That's where their tech comes in. They have what they call a sophisticated bot detection system. It's multi-layered. It uses machine learning analyzing huge amounts of traffic data to spot patterns that look non-human. It uses behavioral analysis watching how a visitor interacts. Does it load pages impossibly fast, click every single link, access things in a weird order? That screams bot. And it uses fingerprinting, identifying unique digital signatures left by known bot programs. These things work together to classify traffic pretty accurately, separating the unwanted AI scrapers from legitimate search bots or other good bots.
And they have other tricks too, right? Like that AI labyrinth.
Yeah, that's pretty clever. They rolled that out in March. It's designed to actively mess with unwanted scrapers. If they detect a bad bot, they can shunt it into this labyrinth, basically an endless loop of fake or irrelevant pages. It wastes the bot's time and computing power, making scraping inefficient or impossible, like a digital tar pit. Plus, they have the world's largest verified boss program where legitimate bot operators can register and declare their purpose, making it easier for site owners to allow the good ones.
Okay, sophisticated blocking. But the other huge piece of this, the part that really caught my eye, is pay per crawl. That sounds revolutionary for actually getting paid by AI companies. How does that work?
It really is a potential game changer.
Yeah.
Pay-per-crawl directly tackles that problem of uncompensated use. It lets publishers and content creators actually charge AI companies for programmatic access to their data. Think of it like a content licensing marketplace, but built specifically for the scale and speed of the AI world. It fundamentally changes the rules of engagement from a free-for-all scrape fest to a paid, permission-based system.
So instead of just blocking bots, publishers can say, okay, AI company X, you can crawl my site, but it'll cost you, what, a certain amount per page? Per data set.
Exactly. The mechanism is designed to be pretty straightforward. The publisher decides who can crawl and sets a price. That price could be per crawl, maybe per 1,000 pages, maybe a subscription for ongoing access to their content feed. They have control. Then, the AI company can see a preview of the content, see the price tag the publisher has set, and make a choice. They can register, agree to the terms, and pay for the access. Or, if the price is too high or the data isn't valuable enough to them, they can just walk away.
A clear market-based transaction for data access.
Precisely. The whole point is to give publishers a new direct revenue stream for content that was just being taken before. Cloudflare wants to ensure, again in their words, that AI companies can use quality content the right way with permission and compensation. It directly addresses Matthew Prince's concern about unlimited scraping. It aims to put the economic power back with the creators and build a more sustainable ecosystem.
Now, Matthew Prince also said something really provocative. Traffic was always a poor proxy for value. That feels like a direct challenge to the last 30 years of the internet we just talked about. What does he mean by that in this new AI context?
Yeah, that statement really cuts to the core of this whole shift, doesn't it? In the old model, traffic was value, or at least closely correlated, because you could clearly monetize it, ads, subscriptions, affiliate links. More traffic generally meant more money. But if AI models are now consuming your valuable content, summarizing it, and giving answers without sending traffic back to you, well, then traffic volume just doesn't represent your content's true worth anymore. The fundamental issue is AI isn't magic. It doesn't create insights out of thin air. It absolutely depends on that massive pool of human-created original content to learn from and generate its own outputs. Without the human stuff, the AI has nothing. The value is still being created by humans, but the mechanism for capturing that value via traffic is broken.
So the content itself is still valuable, maybe even more valuable to the AI that needs it for training. But the creator isn't seeing any benefit through the old traffic metrics.
Precisely. And the implication is serious. Without new ways to get paid, like pay per crawl, publishers risk just fading away. They lose the traffic that paid the bills, and they get no compensation for the intellectual property the AI is using. So this Cloudflare move isn't just about money, it's arguably about preserving the quality and diversity of content that fuels the whole digital world. including AI itself. If creators can't make a living, why would they keep making high-quality stuff? The well could run dry, which ultimately hurts everyone, even the AI companies.
Okay, that idea of value being separate from traffic leads to this Swiss cheese analogy Prince used. It sounds intriguing. Can you explain that? How does it tie into Cloudflare's vision?
Yeah, it's a really helpful way to think about it. Prince suggested imagining an AI's knowledge base like a big block of Swiss cheese. The solid cheese represents all the stuff the AI already knows, the vast amounts of data it's already processed or been trained on, common knowledge, widely available facts, etc. The holes in the cheese, then, represent the gaps in the AI's knowledge, areas where it lacks unique, original, novel, or truly high-value information, stuff it doesn't already know well.
And new original content fills those holes, making it more valuable than stuff that just adds more cheese.
Exactly.
Eh,
New original content that specifically fills one of those knowledge gaps is, in this analogy, way more valuable to the AI than repetitive, low-effort content that just rehashes what's already known. That repetitive stuff just adds more bulk to the existing cheese. It doesn't fundamentally improve the AI's understanding. So Cloudflare's big vision here is truly transformative. They believe if they can start to score and value content, not by traffic, the old way, but by how much it furthers knowledge, basically, how well it fills those holes,
Yeah.
they can achieve two really important things. First, help AI engines get smarter, faster, by incentivizing them to seek out truly novel, valuable information. Better AI for everyone. Second, and maybe more importantly for creators, it could potentially spark a new golden age of high-value content creation. Imagine a future where creating deeply researched, original, insightful work is directly rewarded financially, not just by maybe getting a few ad clicks. They're actually working with top economists and computer scientists to figure out how to build these new valuation models. It's a serious, long-term play to redefine online value.
So how do the AI companies fit into this? Are they just expected to pay up now, or do they have other options, maybe new responsibilities?
Well, it's definitely a new landscape for them, too. Cloudflare is actively working with AI companies. They're helping them get their crawlers verified and encouraging them to clearly state their purpose when they access content. So an AI company will need to specify, are we crawling this site for training our model, just absorbing data to learn? Or are we using it for inference, generating answers to user queries based on what we already learned? Or is it for search acting more like a traditional index? That level of transparency is new and important.
And then the website owner gets to decide based on that stated purpose. Okay, you can train on my data for this price, but using it for real-time search answers costs more. Something like that.
Precisely. The website owner gets that granular information, who the bot is, what it intends to do, and can then decide. They can choose which crawlers to allow, maybe block training bots but allow search bots, or set different prices via pay per crawl depending on the use case. Control goes back to the owner. For the AI companies using pay per crawl, they register, see the price, and choose. Pay up for quality data or walk away. It's designed to be a straightforward, transparent, permission-based system. A huge shift from the Wild West of scraping we've had.
Okay, this is obviously a massive change, a real potential turning point. There must be strong reactions on both sides. Let's start with the support. Who's actually on board with Cloudflare's new default blocking and the pay-per-crawl idea?
You're right, reactions are definitely mixed, but there's significant backing, particularly from major publishers and content platforms who've felt the pain of devaluation firsthand. Big names have already signed on or voiced support. We're talking the Associated Press, The Atlantic, Fortune, technical sites like Stack Overflow, Q&A platforms like Quora, Time Magazine, BuzzFeed, Aidweek, a pretty diverse group. For these guys, it's not just about blocking bots. It's about actively trying to reshape the economics of the internet, which they feel has undervalued their work for way too long. Matthew Prince specifically mentioned these publishers are on board, signaling a kind of united front from a key part of the content world.
And you can see why. They're the ones watching their traffic drop as AI answers questions directly, hitting their ad revenue and subscription models hard.
Exactly. They're staring down a future, or maybe it's already here, where AI chatbots are the first stop for information, not search engines driving traffic to their sites. If you're spending millions on journalism, seeing an AI summarize your scoop in 2 sentences without sending a single visitor your way, that's an existential threat. So finding new ways to get paid, like directly licensing content to AI via pay-per-crawl, isn't just nice, it's becoming essential for their survival.
But it can't be all positive reactions. What are the concerns? the criticisms,
Yeah.
especially maybe from the SEO world, people whose jobs depend on search traffic.
No, definitely not universally embraced. Sentiment is divided for sure. There was a lively discussion on Reddit in the RSEO subreddit that captured this really well. On one side, you had some marketers feeling optimistic, even nostalgic. One comment said, "It feels like the good old days when publishers had leverage. Like maybe this brings back some power to unique quality content over just platform algorithms."
A rebalancing, perhaps.
Yeah.
But what were the worries?
Big worries, especially for smaller players. Some fear this will only help big brands, smaller sites might just vanish. The concern is if you're a small blog or niche site, do you have the brand recognition for AI companies to even want to pay you? Can you negotiate effectively? Can you even implement this easily? It could potentially lead to a web where only the big media companies can afford to participate in this new economy, making the internet less diverse. Another major worry, savvy AI developers will just work around it, find ways to scrape undetected, or just rely on lower quality data from sites not using Cloudflare, maybe bypassing the whole system.
What about tech analysts? Are they seeing this as a solution or just another complication?
They're seeing it as significant but nuanced. Outlets like Search Engine Land praise the idea of being able to distinguish between different types of AI crawlers training versus search, for example. That granularity is seen as useful. The Verge pointed out that the falling search traffic makes initiatives like this almost inevitable. Publishers have to find new income streams. Most analysts seem to agree that whether it's the perfect solution or not, it's a powerful signal that the old way isn't working anymore. It's a major attempt to shift the power dynamics.
Okay, so considering the goals, the support, the concerns, what are the big hurdles still ahead and what might come next?
Yeah, there are definitely hurdles. One is compliance. Not all AI crawlers will play by these new rules. Bad actors will still try to scrape, so Cloudflare needs to constantly update its detection and blocking. It's an ongoing battle. Another hurdle, as mentioned, is ensuring smaller publishers can actually benefit. Will pay per crawl work for them? Can they price their content effectively? That remains to be seen.
And the risk of unintended consequences, like AI getting worse if it only scrapes unprotected lower quality sites.
That's a real concern. If AI companies are pushed towards only using easily accessible, perhaps less reliable data because quality sources are behind paywalls they won't pay, yeah, that could potentially degrade AI quality over time. But Cloudflare seems committed to iterating. They've signaled they're ready to keep working on this.
What does that look like? What are their future plans?
Their bigger vision includes building out a more comprehensive content marketplace, going beyond the initial pay-per-crawl, a place where content can be valued based on originality, relevance, how well it fills those Swiss cheese holes we talked about. They want to develop that framework for valuing content based on knowledge contribution, not just traffic. They're calling this whole thing a new chapter in internet policy. That signals a long-term commitment to fundamentally changing how things work, ensuring creators get compensated. It's definitely an ongoing story.
Okay, this brings us to a really practical point for you, our listener, especially if you run an online business or maybe you're a marketer yourself. With all these huge shifts happening, AI changing search, new ways to potentially get paid, content being strip mined, how do businesses actually adapt? How do they stay visible online?
Yeah, this is where expert help becomes absolutely crucial. We're talking about digital marketing agencies, web development firms, the people on the ground dealing with this every day. They're the ones who need to understand these complex changes, track the trends constantly, and figure out the strategies to help businesses not just survive, but actually find ways to thrive in this new landscape. They provide that essential guidance, the technical know-how, and the operational support needed when the rules of the game are being rewritten.
So what kind of skills and services become most critical for businesses trying to navigate this? Can you maybe give us an example of how an agency might tackle these challenges for a client?
Definitely. Agencies need a really broad skill set now, combining technical chops with strategic content thinking. Let's take a firm like Ad Expert as an example. They're an online marketing and web dev agency, been around a decade, based in LA. Their whole mission is helping clients boost their online presence and hit their goals in this tough digital world, focusing on results. Their approach shows what's needed now. First off, advanced SEO and really smart content optimization are more vital than ever. Even with AI overviews changing search results, you still need to optimize. That means understanding Google's constantly shifting algorithms, using the right keywords, semantic terms, making sure your content structure is sound. Agencies need to think about how AI reads content too, not just humans and old search bots. Precise copywriting is key, engaging, informative, but also optimized for discovery, whether by traditional search or potentially future AI indexing or licensing systems. An agency like AdExpert uses their SEO skills to make sure content is findable and structurally ready for whatever comes next. Second, agencies need to embrace innovative AI solutions for marketing itself. This flips the script. Instead of being scraped by AI, you use AI for your marketing. AdExpert explicitly mentions making the power of AI a cornerstone of our services. That means using AI for things like super precise customer targeting, creating personalized marketing campaigns at scale, using advanced AI analytics to understand what's working. They're harnessing AI strategically to help clients get ahead using the tech proactively. Third, you absolutely need real-time insights and data-driven decision-making. Things change too fast now for guesswork. Agencies need sophisticated analytics. AdExpert, for instance, provides live tracking and reporting across all channels: social, email, paid ads, website behavior. This gives clients that bird's eye view so they can make quick, informed decisions, optimize campaigns on the fly. You can't afford to wait weeks to see if something worked. They use past data, competitor analysis, everything available to build tailored strategies. That constant analysis and adaptation is critical. And finally, you need a solid foundation, strong web development, and quality copywriting. You need a well-built website, WordPress, Shopify, whatever platform fits, that performs well and provides a good user experience. That's the stage for your content. And the copywriting needs to be top-notch, engaging for humans, optimized for machines, focused on quality and information. In this new era where originality might finally be valued properly, good writing is paramount. It's this integrated approach: tech, content, AI, data, that helps businesses navigate successfully.
And for a lot of businesses, having an agency that really understands their local market can be a big advantage too, right? Even with these global shifts.
Absolutely. While these are huge global changes, many businesses still operate locally. An agency with deep local expertise can tailor solutions specifically for a regional market. AdExpert, for example, works heavily in the Los Angeles area, places like Woodland Hills, Calabasas, Burbank, Van Nuys. They understand those specific markets. That local knowledge helps businesses maintain a strong connection with their immediate customers, which can provide some stability or a focused edge, even as the wider internet landscape shifts around them. It brings the global changes down to practical, local action. Hashtag tag tag outro.
Wow. Okay, so we really dug deep today into what feels like a truly pivotal moment for the internet. From that old digital bargain that basically ran the web for 30 years to the disruption caused by AI just consuming content. And now Cloudflare stepping in with this bold Content Independence Day declaration. It's clear things are transforming and fast.
Indeed. And it's more than just technical plumbing, isn't it? It feels like a movement trying to reclaim some ownership, reassert the value of human creation, give creators a voice again in the digital age. This shift away from just traffic as the main measure of value towards potentially direct compensation models like pay per crawl, it presents huge challenges, yes, but also maybe some incredible opportunities for creators, for businesses, and it really highlights how crucial expert partners like those agencies adapting to SEO, AI, and data are going to be in helping everyone figure this out and hopefully thrive.
It definitely leaves us with a big question, maybe for you, our listener, to think about. As the internet potentially moves into this new era, an era where quality, originality, that whole filling knowledge might actually be financially rewarded, how do you think that will impact the kind of content that gets made?
Mm.
Could we see that new golden age of high-value information Matthew Prince talked about?
Mm.
More deep dives, more expertise?
Mm.
Or could it create new divides, maybe leaving smaller creators or niche topics struggling to get paid in this new marketplace?
And maybe a related thought. What responsibility do we have as people consuming information online? Do we need to be more conscious about seeking out original sources? Do we need to understand that the free answers we get from AI chatbots aren't actually free? They're built on the labor of creators. It's a really fascinating, uncertain future taking shape right now. The value of information and the humans who create it is being fundamentally reevaluated. Lots to think about.